And of course, we will be talking about what we are currently playing as well as bringing you some of the latest gaming news. Okay. Well, you can see that I have been playing Hearthstone. Loads of people, students and stuff, they know that I've play Hearthstone all the time. I've been playing it, Jesus, since it was in beta. So those of you who don't know, Hearthstone is a collectible card game. It's if I mean Adam and I are in our 30s. If you go back to the 80s or early 90s, it's not very similar. It's similar to Magic the Gathering or a kind of card game where you collect cards and you try to defeat your opponent. Um, Hearthstone officially came out in March 2014, and I love the game and I've played it almost every day since it came out. Usually when I'm watching TV, I'll play Hearthstone at the same time. The last expansion came out about 2 months ago. Hearthstone's gone through a lot of changes since it came out. I mean, it's been 6 years. The thing that I love about it is it's like I streamed it last night for 30 minutes after I was getting ready for today's stream. It has 4K textures, so you get cards in 4K. And usually when I watch TV, the game's sounds are off. But when I stream, or when I play by myself, oh, it's awesome. The sounds are really cool, and the voice acting for each of the cards, and the mechanics. Like if you look at the picture, it says deceptively simple, insanely fun, and it is. It's a very simple game that takes a long time to master. Um, it's why I brought this game up. It's not exactly a new game. I mean, 6 years old, but the game is just something like if you were to get back into it right now, I would highly recommend it to people who played Hearthstone but who just like, I'm just not feeling it anymore. If you log in today as a new player or an existing player, uh, and you haven't played in a while, you will get yourself a competitive deck. You'll get a whole bunch of cards, like 10, 20 packs. And as of last month, Blizzard is introducing a new system. It's very similar to League of Legends or some of the other games that you basically, as you play games, you get packs, you get more rewards. So one of the biggest complaints about Hearthstone has been that it's just too hard because every time an expansion comes out, the cheapest expansion, $50. So that's 1,500 Taiwanese dollars or more. And there are 4 expansions a year, so you're going to have to pay $200 to sort of be competitive, as they say. Um, but now with the new system, I would imagine that deploy it together with the next expansion, you'll get to have more rewards. You won't have to pay for packs. And I mean, once you get pretty good at Hearthstone, you don't need to pay too much for stuff. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. My goal for this now, or I mean, for the current expansion, or since you and I started streaming, and I started streaming Hearthstone again, is to make it to Legend. Legend is you become one of the top 2% of players in the world, which is something I've always wanted to get. The highest rank I've ever got is rank 9. So in the old system, it was rank 9 to rank 1, and after rank 1, you hit Legend. Um, and so yeah, that is the goal. That's what I've been playing, enjoying it so much. I was actually streaming yesterday, and I've been trying to figure out like what is keeping me playing, and I'm like, wow, I just enjoying streaming this again, and I'm having fun. So even though I should be playing other stuff, I think I'm going to be streaming Hearthstone and playing Hearthstone for the foreseeable future. And what about you, Adam? Hearthstone is free to play, so whenever a new expansion comes out, that's a very good question. You do get free expansion packs, and things have gotten a lot better. Like when it first came out, you could buy, so for the expansion, you pay $50, you get 50 packs. And out of those 50 packs, you get 4 legendary cards. Legendary cards are not always the best cards, but some are really, really good. And they cost a lot of dust to craft those cards. But now, with the way things works, there's no duplicates. So if you get this card, you're not likely to get a second card. So you basically, in the new system, you have a higher chance to get the cards that you want. But it is, I would say, in terms of being free to play, it's sort of like 50-50. If you play enough, and if you're good enough, you don't need to play money. I just say play money, I mean pay money. You don't need to pay money. You can actually just win and buy packs as you get them. But if you're busy like a typical middle-aged gamer, for me, the best way for me is just to buy the packs and keep the money. Okay. Wow.
is your main combat filter. So you can kind of see that Taiwanese culture coming through. But yeah, I think it's definitely something that at least take a look at it, look at some streams, watch some videos of it, and yeah, maybe give it a go. So, Creed, would you like to start us off on our main topic for today?
I have a quick question as well. So, how did you find out about Dust Divers? I mean, like, what did you say? Oh, I have to play this game.
Purely by coincidence. I always go to like GameFAQs or different websites, and I remember seeing an advertisement on it on somewhere. I don't remember quite where. I think it probably popped up in my news feed on my phone, and I looked at it and I saw it and I was kind of like, oh, okay, because I had played like Kiva's Thief, and those other kind of games, which is another kind of brawler game, Tokyo Xanadu. So when I saw it, it had advanced everything I typically like a lot in those games. So immediately it caught my attention that way. So I kind of took a look at it, and I saw that it was made by a Taiwanese developer, and I am very big on supporting the local gaming industry. So when I see a Taiwanese game, I latch onto it. So Devotion, Detention, and now Dusk Divers. These are probably the three biggest games coming out of Taiwan. There are definitely games developed in Taiwan that other people in Taiwan play, but these are probably the three biggest that I've seen kind of as a Western release. And they're all very, very small. So when I do see that, I immediately want to support it. So basically, I knew I was going to get it one way or the other. So I went in completely blind. But I ended up having a lot of fun with it. Yeah, it's not, like I said, it's not super deep, but it is a fun little play, and it's not terribly long either. So
How long is it?
If you're going through the game story wise, you could easily complete it in less than 20 hours. I would say maybe 10 to 15. But if you're really trying to go for everything, you might go a little bit higher, up to maybe 30 or so, maybe up to 40 if you're really trying to go for everything. There are some flaws in the game. Uh, One thing I noticed was there's one of the trophies. I wanted to complete the trophy. I have a personal rule that if I like a game, I will platinum it, and that's the only way I will platinum a game. I don't care about trophies, but if I really like a game, I feel like I want to platinum this as kind of a tribute to the creators, showing them that I went through all their content. So I really appreciated what they did. So I did want to platinum the game. I had all the trophies except for one, and the one that I didn't have was you have to go to a temple and you do the thing where you take the sticks and you shake them, and one stick comes out and it tells you your fortune. There's something like 200 fortunes to be told,
Wow.
and you can get duplicates, so it's 100% RNG. So it was literally just me pressing this button over and over and over again to just keep doing it, hoping I would get that last one. So I ended up watching Netflix and just clicking the button, and every like 10 minutes or so, just flip back to the PlayStation 4 to see if I had it, and just kind of flip back and forth. So it it does have a few little flaws in there like that, but I think for a first attempt, it was actually pretty good. So hopefully, I do hope they do make future games. And they did kind of leave it open that a sequel would be possible. It doesn't lead into it. There's no cliffhanger or anything like that.
Cool.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So would you like to start us off on our topic for today, Gideons?
Sure. All right, let me get rid of these. All right, so our topic, as suggested by Adam, was hidden gems. And this was really difficult for me to choose because when Adam suggested the topic, I had to think about what is the definition of a hidden gem first. Some of the games that came to mind for me were the digital port of a board game I really, really love. I have the real board game in my house over there. It's a game called Ticket to Ride. And when I played it, I actually played it on Steam before I bought the actual board game. And I played it on Steam, and I played it for, I think on my Steam record, it's got to be like 40 hours multiplayer, laying train tracks down. And that is a game I really, really love. Another game was Space Pirates and Zombies. I think we talked about it in a previous episode that the second one that came out, I didn't quite like it, but the first one for me was an amazing game. It was made by a two-person studio in England. Uh, so the game that I decided to choose ended up being Subnautica. Now, while Subnautica has over 100,000 reviews on Steam, it would something I would hardly call it a hidden gem because it is a fairly popular game. 100,000 reviews is kind of hard to find. It was released in January 2018, and why I believe it's a hidden gem is just because it's a game that most people, especially me, I would shy away from because I'm not a big survival genre game. This is somewhat of a survival game. It doesn't explain a lot, and I like to play easy games, especially as I've gotten older. So the way the game works is you are some kind of a space traveler who crashes on a planet with a water biome. You need to navigate the depths of the sea while trying to survive. It was overshadowed because it belongs to the survival genre, as I said before, and people think these games are really difficult. I did, and I haven't played that many survival games. I think the devs did an amazing job creating a game that really holds your hand, but also gives you opportunities to explore on your own. I, as far as the game goes, I definitely recommend this to anyone who wants to play something that is relatively relaxing because there are predators in the sea, but for the most part they are not as scary and can't like one hit kill you like in some survival games. It's an affordable game round. If you've never played Subnautica, if you've looked at it like, I'd like to give that a try. It's $10 USD at the moment. Definitely pick it up if you love the ocean or you want to try a really like well-crafted survival game. Adam, know I've heard you rant and rave about a few games over the years. Care to share?
Yeah, no, it was really hard for me to choose because I always so many games I love, and I just talk to people about them, but before I go into the game that I've chosen, I'd really just like to give a shout out to the PlayStation Vita. I absolutely love the system. I was so devastated when they stopped supporting it, and I really hope there were some games I really loved on there: Soul Sacrifice and Freedom Wars. Also Gravity Rush, but Gravity Rush got ported to the PlayStation 4, and then they got a sequel. So I'm really hoping Soul Sacrifice and Freedom Wars get those at some point. However, I'm not going to be reviewing these because most people don't have a Vita, and I'd rather review something that people might actually be able to play. So I will be talking about Valkyria Chronicles. So Valkyria, sorry. So Valkyria Chronicles was originally released back in 2008. That was the original Valkyria Chronicles. And it is a strategy RPG, but it kind of tweaks the formula in a way that is very different from kind of the traditional XCOM offensive tactics grid-based strategy RPG. So the way it works is you have the two sides go in turns, and you have a number of command points. What you can do is you can select your characters, use a command point to activate that character, and then you go into a third-person mode and have full control over this character. Now, you can only do one action while you're using it, and you also have a bar at the bottom that tells you how much stamina you have. As long as your bar has stamina, you can move in any direction that you want to move in. And then you can also select characters multiple times. So you don't have to select each character once per turn. You could actually have the same character move 4 times. Now, each time you select a character, their stamina bar gets a little bit smaller and smaller, so you can't just be gunning across the map. However, positioning becomes super, super important because of this. Uh, Enemies and your team both have attacks of opportunity, so making sure that your characters are in a good position for that enemy phase will allow them to take pot shots on the enemy if the enemy moves into their sight range. same game. So Valkyria Chronicles,
Always on your mind.
it is always on my mind, especially because it's going to be in a little bit of my news in a little bit. But so getting into the news, Priya, is there anything that you've been has caught your eye recently?
I just realized we gotta figure out a better way for questions because all the stuff we talk about is really interesting. Uh,
If you have a question, feel free to ask. I love questions.
so all right, correct me if I'm mistaken. There are four Valkyria Chronicles so far.
Yeah. Okay. So there's technically five.
Okay.
Well, okay. There's four Valkyria Chronicles. There's a fifth game called Valkyria Revolution. It's set in an alternate dimension, so it is not. The other four games are all set in the same world. They all kind of relate to each other in some way. However, Valkyria Revolution is set in an alternate dimension, so the rules are slightly different. And that one's more of an action RPG as opposed to a strategy RPG, which didn't work out quite well. It was one of those games where it started off and I was like, this game is awful. But you know me, I'm a completionist. I had to finish it. By the end of the game, I liked it, but it took me so long to get there that I wouldn't recommend the game to somebody unless they were already really invested in the series. But yes, there are four Valkyria Chronicles. The first one was released on Steam and PlayStation 3. It was later released as an HD version on the PlayStation 4. And then Valkyria Chronicles 4 was also released on the PlayStation 4. Now, Valkyria Chronicles 2 and 3 were released on the PSP because this is why I consider it a hidden gem. It didn't sell well. The original game did not sell well. So Sega, the people who make the games, decided that maybe they would just kind of scale it back. So they created a second game for PSP, and it didn't sell well. It sold even worse. So for the third game, they didn't even get a release outside of Japan. Now, a lot of people really, really like the third game, but you're going to have to get an emulator, and there's also an an unofficial English patch that you would have to download as well for the emulator to be able to play it.
Wow.
Um, yeah, unfortunately. So, but the third one at least was good enough that they thought, hey, you know what? Let's get back to our roots. Let's release one on the big boy consoles. So that's what they did, and four is absolutely fantastic. There's lots of quality of life improvements over the first one. Um, so definitely worth playing. I would highly recommend. Whenever I talk to people, I say play the original first because the quality of life improvements in the fourth one. If you play the first one first, you're really gonna love it, and then you're gonna love the fourth one. If you play the fourth one first and you go back to the first one, there might be a few things that you're kind of like, oh, like they can attack the tracks on my tank, so I can't move. That's annoying. So there are some kind of things that might be a little bit irritating in the fourth one. So I would highly recommend starting with the fourth one.
Okay, because I know my brother played the first one remastered on on Steam, and I've been thinking I was like, oh, I should give this a look. And now that you've mentioned, I'm like, I'm gonna add it to my Switch list to look for when it's on sale, and I'll probably pick it up.
Yeah, it goes on sale from time to time. A few months ago, I had a deal with my friend. He made me promise I would play Witcher 3, and in exchange, he would play Valkyria Chronicles.
Ah, you told me about that.
Yeah, yeah, so that was our deal. I'll play Witcher 3 if you play Valkyria Chronicles. And I did end up, so I played Witcher 3 first. So then I was like,
Yes.
okay, I told my side of the deal, you have to play Valkyria Chronicles. And the reason I decided to play Witcher when I didn't was because I saw on PlayStation they had a sale that would sell the original and 4 as a bundle for like 50% off or something like that. So I told my friend, like, I'm playing Witcher 3 right now, so you can get this deal because you have to play this game. So
Nice.
and yeah, he's playing it right now, and he's really enjoying it. So
I gotta look out for that. Maybe that'll be my next game. That is the next addiction that finally fills that itch I have of looking for a game.
like strategy games like XCOM, I'd highly recommend.
Oh, I do love my XCOM.
Yeah.
All right, in the news, it has been a crazy week for news. I mean, TikTok and Oracle. Adam's gonna talk about this later. Microsoft and Bethesda. Well, so my news is about the NVIDIA GTX 380. It was released last week, and let me switch to that right now. You can see it in the top right-hand corner. Oh my God, it covers my head a little bit. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it's a slide.
I gotta go that way. Uh, so it's a new graphics card. NVIDIA is one of the top graphics card makers in the world. There are only two. companies anyway. AMD makes their card, Nvidia makes their card. Anyway, this was coming out. This is the 3 series card. Last year was the 2 series, and people were sort of I can't remember the right English word, were building this up and hyping it up like this is going to be an amazing improvement in performance, and it was. The reviews came out, and people were like, "Wow, this really tests out really, really well," and you should definitely give it a buy. But unfortunately, uh, when it did come out, people were like, "Oh my God, you nobody could buy it." So I was one of those people. I wasn't actually gonna buy it. I just wanted to see if it would be available, and it was 6 a.m. American time or 6 p.m. American time, and 6 a.m. Taiwanese time, and I was awake, and I clicked the link on my phone while I was lying in my bed, and it went on to Amazon. There was like 12 cards. This is unavailable, 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 unavailable. And every store, if you're from America, Newegg is sold out. Micro Center is sold out. Fry's, I guess, is some kind of West Coast electronics store sold out. Micro Center sold out. The only way to get a GTX 380 was to buy a whole new computer just for the graphics card. Um, so the price of it, not to mention, I mean, with this series of graphics card, Nvidia's prices were really good. Like this card, the big thing, right? So I have a 4K monitor. I have a GTX 1080 inside my computer. I paid, God, how much is that? Almost $900 for this card, US dollars. And this does 4K. It does it at barely acceptable 30 to 60 frames per second. But this card, I'll put some links in the show notes if you're a podcaster, or if you're one of our listeners and you're listening to the podcast. Have a look at those links. I mean, this literally triples the performance of the GTX 1080 in 4K. So you're supposed to get 4K 120 frames per second if you can afford a monitor that does 120 frames per second. But so I was really, really, really. I'm definitely going to get this card. I might wait until my birthday in December if there's a stock. The news as of yesterday is NVIDIA said there will be GTX Founders Editions cards next week. Founders Editions means that it's just what NVIDIA made. There's no overclocking, there's no extra fan designs. You're getting what NVIDIA builds, but the Founders Editions, the boxes are beautiful. I mean, if you're one of those people who likes boxes, I like boxes. All right, and but EVGA, which is another also the coolest thing about living in Taiwan is a lot of these OEMs. They're not OEMs. They're there's another word for that. I can't remember that right now. Um, Companies, graphics companies, EVGA, MSI, Gigabyte, they're all from Taiwan. EVGA is releasing, they said, according to their press release, thousands of new cards next week. If that actually happens, I'll be amazed. But I'm sure people will snap them up as well. People were really unhappy, which is why it was on the news. Loads of people wanted to buy this card. It was extremely affordable, much cheaper than the 1080 I have in my computer. If you wanted to buy one, right now it is 79 or 800 US dollars for literally amazing performance. And for a little bit extra power usage. So if you do buy one, you do need to use a power calculator. Just Google power calculator, put in your CPU, your motherboard, your graphics card, and make sure you have enough power. And keep an eye out in the coming weeks. Otherwise, guaranteed in December, I'm sure supplies will be up and running. And that is pretty much it. RTX 3080. So RTX, I forgot to say, is real-time ray tracing, which is a cool lighting technology. Adam loves Minecraft, and Minecraft looks amazing with RTX. Um, so I'm looking forward to picking that up. I think I've made up my mind on our first episode. I was talking about that. I'm not going to get a PS5. I'm definitely going for an RTX 3080.
Definitely seems like a future proofing investment.
Who knows until 8K gaming becomes a thing and then I'm screwed.
Yeah, that's why all that concept. Basically, parity across everybody, but we're all equal and less of the hassle.
True, true, true.
Yeah, we definitely have the performance nowadays.
Yes, exactly.
Alright, so my news is actually kind of related to that in the sense that it is going to involve not being able to build stuff. So last week,
Wow.
going to be 66. Yeah, 105. Demon Souls is going to be 66, but Demon Souls, take in mind that this is a remaster of an older game, so it's not going to be as intensive as a brand new game, which is going to probably take advantage of larger spaces and that sort of thing. So we're looking at probably an average about 80 to 100 gigabytes of data per game, which means that you're probably going to be able to store about a dozen games, give or take, 10 games or so on your PlayStation 5. Now, that might not seem a lot, but if you remember, the original PlayStation 4 released with 500 gigabytes of data, and back then games were on average about 40 gigabytes. So even though the games are much, much larger and they've doubled the size, so you're actually going to be able to hold about the equivalent number of games that you could on the PS4. So, it might seem like a lot, but it's actually not too big of a change from what we've seen previously. But back to what I was talking about before, with, as Korean said, the graphics, the new RTX completely sold out. PlayStation, exact same problem, but theirs is a little more controversial. So what happened was, after their reveal, they basically said, we are, or basically they, previously prior to the reveal, they said, we are not going to surprise you guys with a surprise pre-order reveal. We're going to give you time to know about it. There's going to be ample time for people to get ready. Now, after the event, they did have a scheduled time for pre-orders. However, apparently what had happened was some places started opening up pre-orders immediately after the reveal. Now, I've heard reports that it was actually Walmart that originally did this, and then other people like Amazon basically felt, oh my God, we have to jump on top of this because other people are doing it. And so basically it kind of snowballed where everybody started doing it. If you actually went to the official Sony site, they did not start offering pre-orders until the official time. So it wasn't Sony that was doing that, it was these other distributors. Now, there might have been some miscommunication between Sony and those distributors, so there's been a lot of controversy about it. People have been complaining about it. Obviously, the game sold out very, very quickly. I saw on Amazon there were people that were waiting until the exact time it was supposed to reveal, and what they did is they clicked refresh the second of to find out it was already sold out, literally on the second. Apparently, what had happened was Amazon had an unlisted page for pre-ordering open prior to their regular pages, so people who had access to that page were able to pre-order their PS5s before it was supposed to go live on Amazon. So when it
Wow.
did go live, they were already sold out. Um, so this obviously caused a lot of trouble, and Sony's been getting a lot of flack for it. Microsoft has kind of jumped on the wagon and taken the opportunity to reassure people, we are not going to surprise you guys with pre-orders. We're going to let you know they actually are tomorrow on the 22nd. That's today in Taiwan, but for Americans, on the 22nd, which might be when most of you are watching this tomorrow when you wake up, or so that's when the pre-orders are going to open. They said that there shouldn't be a problem. Now, I'm not 100% sure that's going to be the case because obviously with Sony, all the pre-orders sold out. So I would not be surprised if Microsoft's X Series also sells out within minutes, and then people are complaining, why are there not enough? Sony did say that they are going to be releasing more PS5s on launch day. They said the total number is supposed to actually be higher than the initial number of PS4s that were available on launch day. It's just the pre-order problem. Um, but anyway, the Xbox has jumped on this and transitioning from that into this, what Korea mentioned before, the Bethesda acquisition. Microsoft, as of either today or yesterday, has bought Bethesda. So this is actually really big news. Bethesda's always been kind of a free company. They've been releasing games for all sorts of console systems. Obviously, Skyrim was released on everything, including eventually the Switch. Fallout 4 has been released on almost everything. So the fact that Bethesda has been bought out by Microsoft, one of their biggest problems this previous generation was that they just didn't have enough exclusives. PlayStation had most of the exclusives, so they've been buying out just these publishers just left and right. They bought Obsidian, they bought Bethesda now, they have ZeniMax, which is with Bethesda. So they're buying out these really, really big companies. And the idea is that hopefully
I know what you're talking about. I don't
But
remember the name either.
okay, but those were supposed to be PlayStation exclusive. They said that those will continue to be PlayStation exclusives. But people are really worried about mostly Elder Scrolls and Fallout. Now, Xbox did say that they would like to kind of bring those things out. So it looks like what they're actually doing. Their announcement was that from now on, all Elder Scroll games, all Fallout games, basically all Bethesda games that are available on Xbox will be released on Game Pass on launch day. So if you are a Game Pass member, then you will have that game as part of your Game Pass on launch day. So basically, they're probably going to still sell all these games on PlayStation, but here's the thing. You can buy it on PlayStation for $70 US because the PlayStation will be upping the price of their games. So you could buy it on PlayStation for $70 US, or you could spend that $70 on a little over 4 months of Game Pass, get that game plus hundreds of others as part of this deal. So that seems to be their strategy moving forward. And if you're the kind of person who plays, say, more than one game every 4 months, then Game Pass is going to be a really, really good deal. And I mean, even if you played Skyrim, or not Skyrim, but if you played the new Elder Scroll games for 3 months and then played another game for that last month, you're actually still saving money with Game Pass. So it seems like Microsoft is really kind of leaning into this games as a service model. So PlayStation fans probably don't have too much to fear in terms of actually still having access to those games. All right. Well, that's about all the time we have for today. I think we did a little bit better, not too much, but we're doing okay. So as teachers, we're trying to work on our pacing. It's very important in class. We have that down. We're trying to get a little bit better here. There's just so much to be excited about and so much to talk about. So on this note, I'll turn it over to Priya, and he's going to sign us off.
Yes, I did have a quick question because this is something I've never realized before. Like I've told you before, with a Switch you can share games. I thought with a PlayStation you couldn't do that. Like if I buy a PlayStation version of Valkyria Chronicles, oh my god, I can't say that. Uh, if I buy a PlayStation version and I finish playing it, I can lend it to you and you can still play it.
If you have the disc,
So if I have the
so
disc, and even though you've never bought it, you can actually play the whole game on your PlayStation.
oh yeah, so like that was one of the big things in the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One reveal was when Xbox. That was one of the things that really hurt them was that they were going to have the serial number on the disc associated with your game. So if you resold your disc to somebody else, they would have to buy a new license for the game that might not be at full price. And PlayStation actually teased Xbox by that by having a little skit where they were like, "This is how you share a game on the PlayStation," and
Huh.
he literally just hands over the box to his friend, and his friend's like, "Thanks," and that's it. So yeah, so for example, I have Jedi Fallen Order on disc. I had a friend who hadn't played it, so I just gave it to him. He borrowed it. He played it for a couple weeks, and he just gave it back to me. So if you have a
Nice.
disc, you can do that. But the thing is this isn't so much about sharing the games. This is more about if you go to a store like GameStop or something like that, they always buy back used games or give you store credit for used games
Yes.
and then resell those used games. Sony would not be getting any of the money on these used game sales. So for the disc version, they're losing out on that kind of secondhand game market. On the discless version, because everything's digital, there is no secondhand game market, and so they can get 100% of the profits on those sales.
All right. And then, as far as online play goes, so if I buy a game, I'm limited to single player. I can't use that disc game to go online.
What do you mean?
So like if I buy, I'm trying to think of a game that has an online component that also has a single player component. Like if I buy Call of Duty Warzone on the PlayStation 4 and I play the single player and I play online and I give it to you, you can only play single player, right?
Nope, you have full access to the games. Basically, like the same thing we had back in the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis days.
So even you can
You've
do
got,
online as well.
oh yeah, you basically own
Oh,
the whole game.
that's better because with the Switch, games that have online components, you have to actually own the game.
Oh no, yeah, there's none of that. It's just you just have the disc, you plug it
Oh,
in, it installs on your machine, and you basically have the whole game. Now, the only thing you might lose out on is sometimes in the disc they'll have like a little jack in the jacket. It might have a code.
Ah, okay. Downloadable items.
Right, downloadable items or extra map content or something like that. Now, you obviously that code can only be used once, but the disk itself, anything that's on the disk can be used as many times as you want. You have full access to online things. Now, if I use the disk, install it on my system, I give you the disk, you install it on your system, I cannot start the game without the disk. So the disk does need to be in the system first. We
Ah,
can't
okay,
play the
okay,
game at the same time.
okay.
But either one of us that has a disk, we have full access to that code.
Man, you just shattered my misconception about PlayStation. I've literally one of the things like, oh my god, that means I have to buy full price games all the time. And now I can just realize, you just made my head think again. I'm rethinking that RTX 3080.
No, yeah, it's back. I remember back playing Warcraft 2 or something. If I have my Warcraft 2 disc, I can install it on my computer. I could play my friend over the modem that was super slow.
Yes.
I could give the disc to somebody else. They can install the full game on there, and they can play it. The full game's on the disc. So there's no licensing or anything like that. At least not on the PlayStation 4. PlayStation 5 hasn't mentioned it, so I'm assuming it's going to be the same.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome news.
I just thought it was common sense.
No, I swear to God, I've heard something like, oh, um, if you're a PlayStation owner, it was the PS4 days that if you own a game, or if you bought a disc game, you couldn't lend it to anybody.
Oh no, that was the original Microsoft plan. I think they backtracked on it, but that was Microsoft originally said that, and then PlayStation came out and said no, that's not going to be the case. And then later on, Microsoft backed down because it made a lot of people angry.
All right, last quick question.
Okay.
But like, if I buy a game in Taiwan, I can't lend it to my brother in England.
Oh, you absolutely can.
So there's no region locking either.
No, that's actually really interesting. And I've taken advantage of this several times. I have a Taiwanese account and I have an American account. Now, my Valkyria Chronicles, the English version never released in Taiwan. So my disc is actually a US disc for Valkyria Chronicles on the PS3.
Oh,
I've also gotten a few, or I'm trying to think of games that I have on the PS4 on disc. Most of my games are digital, but it's the same deal. The other thing that's really interesting is because on my PlayStation I have my two accounts. I have my American account and I have my Taiwanese account. Uh, because Final Fantasy 14 never released in Taiwan, when I play that and you see me streaming, I'm streaming from my American account. If I Once I'm done with that and I move on to say Ghost of Tsushima or something like that, I'm going to be on my Taiwanese account. Uh, but I can download games because there are certain games that don't release in Taiwan in the English version, like Persona 5. So Persona
yes.
5, we have it, but we have the Chinese version, Japanese version. We don't have the English version. I can download Persona 5. This is what I did with Valkyria Chronicles 4. I downloaded Valkyria Chronicles 4 from my American account. So I had to go on Amazon. I had to buy the $100 US gift card for my PC with the code. And then I put that on my account. I download it from my American account. I can play it on my US I download it from my US account and then I can play it on my Taiwanese account. So my Taiwanese account is the version that has all the trophies and everything. So not only with physical discs, but you can do that with the digital versions as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
You just
okay.
have to set the settings uh, you just have to set this is as your home PlayStation. So if you set this as my home PlayStation, basically anything that account downloads on that PlayStation will be shared across all accounts on that PlayStation.
Hmm. Nice. All right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And once again, thank all of you for tuning in and helping us build our platform. And I might really get excited when we see the number of views go up. So please click subscribe on whatever platform you're currently on, be it Twitch, YouTube, Google Podcasts, or any other way you're finding us. We look forward to talking to you again soon.
All right. Goodbye. And please leave comments.
Yes, please do.